Hello and welcome to our next Catena Cast. I'm Claire Bicknell, owner of the Catena Network, and we use these opportunities to meet and interview members of the Catena Network. So before I introduce you to our subject today, we're here at Perkins Bar Bistro, another venue member, and it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful venue, and we're going to have some beautiful food later on as well. So anyone who knows me knows that I love the opportunity to get out of the office, and particularly when it's a gorgeous day like today. So there's a beautiful garden here at Perkins, and this is where I'm about to meet our next guest. So do come with me. So my guest here today is Greg Simpson of Press for Attention PR. Thank you for joining us. It's a tough gig that we've got this afternoon, isn't it?
Yep, so, awful job.
Yes, but you PR types go above and beyond the pale, don't you?
We try.
So, I see that you've come prepared. You've brought props with you.
Indeed.
Is this a Monty Python joke, or?
Actually, it will. The third part of this trilogy of marketing chicanery does involve Monty Python.
Tell me more.
And the competition. So this is all about the dreaded GDPR, which we've all got bored to tears with. I'm sure you at home have been bored to tears with it too. And I got sick of being sort of reminded that I was on someone's database that I didn't even know I was on in the first place, and they hadn't even sent anything to me that I'd noticed. And then there was all these very, very dull marketing messages coming out from people who I thought were quite creative normally, and seem to have managed to lose that.
I hope you weren't including me in that.
No, these are the professional marketing people like my good self. And I just thought there's another way of doing this. And people are getting obsessed with losing subscribers or losing the number of people on their list, which is nonsense really, because it's not about how many people's on the list, it's how many people actually engage.
I like that. You did a blog earlier this year about actually using GDPR as a positive tool to engage with the people who want to engage with you.
Yes. So if
exactly
you have 1,000 people on your list and then you ask people if they really want to hear from you and half of them say no, it's probably a dent to the ego, but it's not really a problem from a marketing perspective, because your list comes down, so your engagement levels are higher, and that's preferred anyway, and you can actually talk to people who really want to hear from you in the first place and have more of a relationship with them. So I thought, how do we talk about this from my perspective, and it was trying to get around spamming people and various other security issues, of course, as well, and data protection, but the fun part of it was the spam. So I thought, what can I do that will rattle people's cages a bit, which I like to try and do, and I ended up buying 100 tins of spam, and sending out people a spam mailer, including a recipe for spam, which they could then decide if they wanted to continue hearing from me or not, or if they thought I was mad, they could get rid of me straight away there, and someone might have thought it was quite funny and might email me back to say it's time we had a chat. So that's all been done, and there will be a follow-up mailer going out with another recipe for spam, and then there is a direct mail, old school marketing, going out in the post to 100 lucky spam recipients over the next 2 weeks, and again, that will annoy some people. Some people will probably think I'm mad, some people will think that I don't take myself very seriously, and they'd be right. But some other people might think this guy is a bit more creative, so I'll give him a call and ask him over for a spam fritter or something.
Absolutely. So is there now a national spam shortage?
There is in Sainsbury's Castle Boulevard. Other Sainsbury's are available, as are other supermarkets.
But no spam?
I cleared out their entire spam hoard. I
So
don't know how old, I don't know when it expires, probably quite a long time actually. Yeah, there's another 4 years on that.
Don't tell me it's the 25th of May.
I don't know when it did say actually, but it would be good if it was. I just went to the checkout with all that, the varying. There's different types of spam. There's light, there's bacon infused spam, and then the traditional spam in different sizes it turns out. So I just cleared them all out, and paid the checkout, and I don't know what they thought was going on. And then they got wind they thought it might be a TV advert, and I sort of went, it's a bit like that. And then made good my escape.
Excellent, excellent. So this is a big year for you, isn't it?
It is, very big year, yeah. So it's the 10th anniversary of business.
Well, I'm going to stop you there,
and
because we could have a picnic. We have spam.
And sweet corn on the bag for some reason.
But we also have a 10th birthday cake for you.
Oh wow.
we go. Just to mark this auspicious occasion, just to show you don't take yourself seriously.
No, absolutely not. Should I wear this to the black tie event tonight?
I'll leave that one in your hand. So,
thank you very much.
So congratulations, 10 years in business. That is a major achievement.
It's not without its challenges, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
You've been in business a sort of similar sort of amount of time, I think. Isn't much.
Half that.
Is it?
I've only just made 5.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'm surprised at that.
So it's a long time, and yeah, things change and the market's changing what it wants. But at the end of the day, it's people want to have help explaining complex things, really, which is what I do. And however you dress it up in various marketing jargon terms, that's what you're doing, really. Trying to find more ways to help people get more business through words, really. That's what I do. And yeah, there's been PR's changed in that time. There's a whole digitisation of everything. There's a few journalists and newspapers, which again, that's an issue for PR, but in a positive way sometimes, because it means they need more support. And if you're good at what you do, and you're not sending spammy press releases, you're an asset to the media rather than someone trying to pitch a story. And that's the main thing. If you're any good at doing the sort of job that I do and lots of other people do, it's when you are useful to the press, you'll be used more and more regularly, which helps your clients.
Yeah. So you started 10 years ago, so that would be what, 2008. So
Yep.
that was the beginning of the recession, wasn't it? So that's a nice time to start a business.
And with an eye for a headline, I did launch officially on April Fool's Day, because no other idiot would try it. And
well,
every single year
is such a good compliment to that, really.
Every single year ever since then, and all the way through the recession, I thought, yeah, eek. But no.
Would you have advised one of your clients to do that?
Start on April Fool's Day?
Yeah.
Depends on their customer.
And put it out there as well.
Yeah, that depends on their customer base. But I put it out there when I'm feeling that the opportunity's there. So if I had something funny-ish to say, I would make reference to it being my anniversary and see how far I can push it. Yeah. But I'll do a big one at some point and see who spots it. It's a joke. But yeah, it's been good fun. But learnt a lot.
Yes.
You have to do everything. HR, finance, marketing, PR.
Yes. So do you do PR for your own business? Obviously you do.
I do.
But is that the last thing in the list of priorities that you do? Because
yeah, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, everybody that I talk to will do a fabulous job for their own for their own clients. But when it comes to their own business, I haven't got time to do that.
It's a tricky one with PR, because really it's kind of frowned upon for PR people to be talking about themselves in the press too much. Because it's not that it's too easy, it's not easy, it's that you should be concentrating on your clients and not yourself. So there's a balance to be made. I very rarely talk about myself in the press. I will in marketing through other mediums. I put out a story about my 10th anniversary. There's another one coming out soon, but that will be mainly profiling a client rather than myself. I just happen to be in the story. But there is the cobbler and shoes situation. And I do a lot of work in Birmingham with a business group, and they go along the line of this 90 minutes a day mantra. And if you're not doing 90 minutes a day on your business, either getting or keeping customers, you're really not really in business. You bought yourself a job, really.
Okay.
So, but it's very, very hard to try and do 90 minutes a day, or 30 minutes in the morning, 30 at lunch, 30 in the evening. People get distracted, especially me. Get distracted by the gym, walking the dog, whatever it would be. But over the course of a week, I would probably do 5 times 90.
Yes.
On something to do with getting or keeping customers.
Yeah. So what was it like then, 10 years ago, starting? How did you?
Oh, it's all in black and white for the start.
Oh, there were dinosaurs stomping there. So how did you get to the stage of wanting to start your own business? What were you doing before?
Well, I was working for another agency in town, and I was doing lots of the day-to-day stuff. So you get to a certain level in most organisations and your clients see less and less of you, and your team sees more and more of you, because there's organisational issues to do, there's appraisals to do and things like that, and that's not really what gets me going. I like to write headlines, I like to see clients' faces when I give them a copy of a paper or magazine or send them a link, and that's just natural. It happens in big agencies, that you get bigger and bigger and bigger. And both my parents are very entrepreneurial, and I've been brought up around that idea, so it was going to happen at some stage. And the opportunity presented itself with someone I've known for a long time, and is still a client. And it was a case of I need to find some other ways of, I can't survive on one client, so I'll have to go and find some more.
Yeah.
And it went from there really. But it was always going to happen.
Yes.
And there wasn't any one thing that pushed me. It was good timing. It was my 30th birthday coming up, and I made the decision then really, and jumped.
Milestone birthdays are very good for focusing the mind, aren't
Yeah,
they?
who knows what's going to happen on my 50th, which is some way off, I might add.
I'd say 10 years, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So we've done the anniversary of the business, and congratulations on that.
you.
That is an achievement. But this is a big year for you in another respect as
Oh,
well,
it is.
isn't it?
Getting married in, I think it's 78 days.
So you're
from
not
now.
counting then.
It's on the board in the kitchen.
Is it?
It is. There's a countdown that me and my fiance have on the board. So it's all on there. But it's not a Gantt chart. It's just 78 days, 77. So yeah, August the 31st we'll be getting married.
Excellent. Well, congratulations
Thank you.
for that then, and we wish you all the best on that. So you've set up a business in a recession. You've lasted 10 years. You're also a published author. So many people say there's a book in them, but haven't done anything about it. Tell us more about the book.
They should, because there is a book in most people, I think. It may not be any good. Mine might be awful. I was working, I kept going to certain events and seeing the same people, which happens, as you know. But one of the people I saw a lot was Emma Jones, who runs Enterprise Nation.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma and I get on very well, and we tend to just call a spade when it comes to business advice. And she said to me, you know what would be really good would be a really simple guide to how to do what you do, how to run a PR campaign. And I said, that's doable, but it's probably not a book, but I could give you how to do it in 10 days. And then she said, right then, you best get cracking. And that was how you negotiate a publishing deal, by the way. So that went to the stage of have to write a synopsis and chapters, suggestions about what the content will be, and it got reviewed by Brightword Publishing, part of Harriman House, which I think Doug Richard, former Dragon, was on that,
right.
Which is quite cool.
Yes.
And then they said, yes, crack on. And I had to then go, oh, right. I best write it
It's
then.
happening, yeah.
I best actually write it then. So yeah, and then it was about 4 months after that, I spotted it on Amazon, which was very nice. And
how many copies have you bought?
I've not bought any. I get
I
them
just
all for
wondered
free.
if we might be. Well, I wondered if you might be doing another spam sort of bulk buy.
No, I didn't need to do that.
Good. Other people did it for you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But it's useful because if someone says to me, I'm not sure I want to work or can work with a PR agency or a consultant or you, I don't even know the first thing of how it goes and how it works, I would say, well, read this, or depending on where I've got to, I'd probably give them a copy and say, do this.
That's
then
an
come back and talk
interesting
to
point then. So what size business do you think, this is going to be a bit of a leading question, I guess, needs a PR agency? I knew you'd say that because there are many that would say, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And then you would say, well, can you afford not to, and all those kind of things like that. But going back to Monty Python then, what does PR ever done for us?
What's PR ever done for us? Well, the thing is, when you say about let's go back to the can't afford thing, and I'm going to do a politician thing and say, I'm going to be very clear on this question, Claire. And I'm going to be very clear on this. It's not that people can't afford a PR agency. A lot of people can't, but they can't. It doesn't mean they can't do PR. And that might be that they get hold of someone like me and say, could you give me a hand with this one story or this one project, or could I pick your brains over this? And if professional PR people like myself aren't willing to flex to accommodate that, then I think that's a mistake, because there's plenty of businesses out there who do need to pick up the phone and say, Greg, can I bend your ear for a bit? And after a while of ear bending, there becomes a commercial consideration.
Sure, yeah, that ear has a price.
Yeah, I work with lots of people who say, I just want to do one story.
So what makes a story? What is a good PR story? What should businesses be on the lookout for that they might think, well, I'll see if this man's any good?
They should. What makes a good story from the company's point of view is the one that actually generates revenue. Doesn't just massage the ego, which you have to watch out for. A lot of time people will ask me to come in and I'll say, so why am I here, then what's happened or what's happening? And sometimes it will purely because arrivals in the papers, or they want to get one up on someone, or they want something for the living room wall. It needs to be strategically led, but what makes a good story is something that's going to make a difference to their business, but really will make a difference to their audience, because that's what the press need. The press really, they're there to look out for great stories from businesses, but they really want great news for their readers, interesting news to their readers. So if you can get to that mentality, which is, this is really interesting for our customers and they should know this, or this will make a difference, then you then get your spin onto it. That's what makes a good story, because everybody wins. You win because you get the notoriety, you get the publicity, your customers win because they're better informed, and the press win because they've got good content.
It sells papers.
It sells papers,
or clicks now.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's how you have to think. It's sort of, is this ticking a box for all three people? And from my point of view, for my customer, for the press, who are also, they're a customer of mine really as well.
Yes.
And then for my clients' customers as well. And if all those things are happening, you'll have a good story that does generate return on investment. But if it's just an ego-driven piece that nothing really changes except the fact that you've done a story, it won't work, and it won't work long term anyway.
Interesting food for thought there. So that time has absolutely flown. Laura behind the camera is just giving us that. So just to end then, can you give us 3 top tips for, I guess, a business utilising PR?
Okay. First of all, you need to stop trying to be the Brad Pitt or the Angelina Jolie or insert lead actor of the story. You need to be Spielberg. So too many people are trying to get stories out about themselves where they are the star, they're the only part of the story, please write about me, put my name up in lights. Whereas if you can become just a level above it and create or package a story as a producer would package a story, then your publisher, the press, will thank you for it because it's a ready-made article. So that's one good thing to do. The second thing is to think in pictures, and people get this horribly wrong. They don't invest in photography, so they have a really good story going. It would make a good piece of content, it would probably get covered, but the photograph they send is them stood against a wall or shaking hands with somebody, and it doesn't add anything to the story. So if in my former role as a journalist you sent me that story and that story, they both have the same merit, but this one had a really boring picture and that one had an interesting one that made me go, what's that? That's the one that'll get used. But too many people say we'll do it ourselves, or I'll shoot it on my camera phone, and you can do that, but don't selfie it and don't set it against the backdrop with your logo in the background, because that'll be great, because it won't be, because they won't thank you for that in the press. It's just another problem for them to deal with. So yeah, think in pictures would be the main one. And then finally, it's probably linked to the Spielberg thing actually, which is it's win-win, as I was saying before. Try to be a partner with the press. Don't try and sneak sales messages into copy and then congratulate yourself because you managed to get one over on the press, because again that will only last for a very short time. Or, if you're going to make promises about job creation or financial performances, don't be surprised if people start asking where that's based, and again you'll only go so far with that. So if you try to hoodwink the press, you'll do it once but never again, and PR's meant to be a long-term game, not a short-term win.
Very wise words to finish on then. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for the cake.
Just one other thing though, Laura. And of course, for all our participants, a bottle of Catena wine. I'm not sure how well it goes with Span, but
does it go well with cake?
It goes very well with cake.
Wonderful.
It goes very well anyway, so
thank you very much.
Enjoy.
And it's red as well, which is good.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining us.